friends, if you grew up in the States, you probably remember some kind of standardized testing in schools and lots of practice tests leading up to that. Some answers were definitely on the final test, and a lot of them weren't, but you were prepared for the shape of everything all the same. You know, until someone informs you that this year's answer key is being stored online and all you need to know is a couple of technical tricks to get a hold of it. It's an easy A and a passing grade for everybody involved if you can just fly under the radar. This is essentially what OpenAI has been up to, but on a far more dramatic scale with much bigger stakes. When state-of-the-art models are released, they're typically accompanied by a set of benchmarks, which is just a fancy test that new and shiny models use to see where they sit when ranked up against the competition. Benchmarks come in all shapes and sizes. There are the personal ones, the standard ones that you and I ascribe, the socially experimental, and of course the professional. This is everything from today's test to does the model write creatively to asking the system how many R's are in the word strawberry. Today's task is an ExploitGym benchmark, something published in May this year by researchers from UC Berkeley and a handful of other notable groups, with most of big tech providing feedback to help run it against their models. The question ExploitGym asks is straightforward. Can a model take a known vulnerability and turn it into a working exploit? It's been designed to keep from faking results because success is proven by a flag that the agent can't read unless it genuinely compromised the target or busted the encryption. OpenAI used two models for this, Sol 5.6 and one that currently only exists in the corporate backrooms. You should know, though, that both of these models ran without a number of cyber safety guardrails, because the point was to test how far the model would go. These two multimodal systems got to work in a sandbox, something that is important to mention now so that we can talk about it later in the video. Let's break it down step by step. First up, for the hack, the model spends a tsunami of tokens working on busting out of its sandbox, finding a zero-day exploit in the package proxy that OpenAI would later have to disclose to this particular vendor. Step 2 is where things begin to jump off the rails, because the model starts escalating its own privileges working through the research network until it could ping a machine with internet access. Now that the model had more connectivity, it moved on to step 3. With the ability to reach the internet, the system reasoned that HuggingFace was the most likely host for ExploitGym datasets and their solutions. There's no HIDL that we know of. It's being reported that these steps are occurring over thousands and thousands of automated action and reasoning steps. Alrighty, on to step 4. This is where OpenAI actually is getting itself into a little bit of trouble, because the system got access to HuggingFace through a data processing pipeline that leveraged a malicious dataset, which can be confusing at a glance because a dataset isn't typically executing anything. In this case, the data abused two code execution paths, a remote dataset loader and a template injection into said dataset configuration file. We're now at step 5, and the system has node level access at this point. It cannot be understated what a big deal this is. An LLM autonomously deciding to harvest cloud and cluster credentials, then move laterally into several internal clusters over the course of a weekend. Ooh, at this point, it has gone entirely undetected. And yeah, sure, the benchmark tests are probably gonna be a breeze, seeing as step 6 is just to yoink the test solutions directly from HuggingFace's production database. And just like that, poof, the model is back in the research lab, answering every question to the tune of 100%. For all that work, all 17,000 events recorded by folks external to OpenAI, the system failed to do a few things. First and foremost, dude, you never give yourself a perfect score on a test that you cheat on. That's like the easiest way to get the teacher to have you retake it in a closed environment. And secondly, arguably the more important thing here, there's an implication being made that something is missing from the event logs, the exposed tokens, and the overall actions in the model. And it's any kind of malicious wording, intent, or hacking language. It never paused and went, I think I it might be in some black hat territory, which, I mean, duh, it had all the cybersecurity guardrails clips, so I don't know how this is surprising. What would be surprising, I feel, is if during this the actions were so reflexive between the model layers that concepts such as pulling someone's credentials might be unethical simply escape the J-space altogether. If that were the case, it might imply that in a more native state, these models might simply lack that moral reasoning within the black box, which would be wild given the fact that they're a reflection of their training data. But it's hard to focus on that when you're the largest host of local AI in existence and you know you're getting attacked. HuggingFace didn't just stand by in all of this. They were onto things pretty quick. Detection came from an anomaly sniffing pipeline using LLMs over security telemetry correlating weak signals against the daily noise. And wouldn't you know it, the pipeline flagged it, followed it up with a GLM 5.2 driven forensic analysis across the full 17,000 events logged on their side that mapped out everything. They knew and had the reports within hours, notifying the FBI, which was great and all, especially with OpenAI only speaking with HuggingFace a week after the incident occurred, so, you know, super solid transparency there, guys. OAI is saying their security team identified the bad activity, but they're not saying when, and some outlets are reporting that they caught the security issues the same time HuggingFace did, but on an independent level. So we're either seeing a real lapse in internal understanding of unsupervised benchmarking, or more than likely there's just not enough human accountability in the pipeline, as tends to be the case with big tech and AI getting together. This issue isn't even an uncommon or exclusive one with benchmarking, GPT, sandbox escape, or any of that, as just a week before, NanoGPT was running a speedrun benchmark, invented a pretty nifty technique to solve said benchmark, and then spent a ton of time uncovering an exploit to post it, which made OpenAI pause the deployment, which is great, I guess. In this particular case, the model was actively trying to circumvent, knew it was pushing reasonable limits of conduct, and continued anyways, despite the thought. And I really don't want to give off the impression that this is a GPT problem. This is a big tech and government problem, but one you'll probably only hear about in the light of day with big incidents like this. There are many others, I'm sure, that have fallen under the radar, and the reality is you and I just don't know what capabilities or benchmarks are being achieved behind closed doors, so we always use what the public can do as a meter stick. Let's just call a spade a spade. George Carlin said it best. It's a big club and we're not in it. So in reality, all we can do is speculate at this point as to what's going on with GPT, models as a whole, and the consistent desire for multimodal systems to break their constraints. It could be that systems engaging in this behavior are experiencing another symptom of reward hacking, where the path of least resistance is hacking everybody's shit. The other option is morality decay, where context flooding pushes out whatever sense of right or wrong a system prompt might instill, leading the LLM to focus entirely on the user instructions, where it then falls into a K-hole where it can't see anything but that instructed task. That all said, this should have never been an issue in the first place. An air-gapped system doesn't have this problem, and OpenAI definitely had that option. Benchmarks also targeting native response versus multimodal response versus agentic pipelines could do a great deal in shining a light on how important the bells and whistles are to competent outcomes. And there definitely are some benchmarks out there, but big tech doesn't necessarily focus on these sort of variations. At the end of it, this has created a lot of reactionary articles about just how bad things actually are, and they aren't wrong so much as they are exaggerated and very mistimed. Many a doomer, hope-pilled, and preservationist were screaming 4+ years ago about the potential for such events. It almost didn't matter what camp you were in. If you understood the trajectory of the tech, you knew this was coming. Hopefully, for the people that this startled, this has been a wake-up call as to what the technology is about, because rarely is it ever what's going on in the moment, but what's capable down the road. So there we go. OpenAI accidentally cheats at a test, fails to report it in a timely manner, and I'm just sitting here nodding my head like this isn't the best segue I could get for our yearly coverage of Defitic. This is the biggest tech and AI conference in the military, though it's specifically targeted at the Air Force. It's a great intersection of everything I hate about AI and love about networking. There are tons of snake oil salesmen trying to peddle GPT in a trench coat, big orgs who sweat every year when I ask them stupid questions like how do you guarantee quality when you can't fully control the system, or what's your technique to combating model declination. They aren't always the easiest questions, and that's kind of the point because everybody's here from Google to IBM, and this little robotic twat with the googly eyes that better be coming back this year, I swear to God. Anyways, before I get off on another tangent, if you've ever wanted to ask questions at a place like this, or you want me to see something specific on the schedule, let me know down in the comments below. See you, nerds.